Okay, so my biofuel project is on biodiesel. So what is biodiesel and where does it come from? So biodiesel is an alternative fuel to petrodiesel or standard diesel, which comes from vegetable oils, animal fats, or other waste oils. The primary source for biodiesel in the United States is soybean oil or meat processing plants. That's because we grow a lot of soybeans, so we have a lot of soybean oil. Biodiesel works similarly to gasoline in the fact that it contains long chains of carbon, which when reacted with alcohol can be combusted in a similar manner to standard diesel or gasoline. The most common method for how it is made is through base catalyzed transesterification. So they use a catalyst to oxidize it with an alcohol, and in doing so it alters the structure of the molecule and makes it more easily combustible. It's implemented not super thoroughly yet, just because it's pretty new and the technology isn't up to par to where it would have to be to replace standard diesel or gasoline. So most commonly you can find B5, which is a 5% biodiesel, 95% standard diesel mix. However, in some places there are B30 and even B100 mixes. So as technology improves, the production of biodiesel should increase, and as awareness of its potential grows, we should hopefully see more implementation and more demand for implementation. One of the cool things about biodiesel is that it can be used in a mix with standard diesel to just make it a little more clean. The pros are that it produces less soot than standard diesel, so it's better for human health. It's renewable because you can grow the crops and raise the livestock, so you never run out of the raw materials to produce it. It naturally lubricates engines, helping them last longer so less engines end up in landfills. Biodiesel is also carbon neutral because although it produces carbon dioxide, it also is made with plants which absorb carbon dioxide. And most countries have the materials to make biodiesel, so they would have to import less oil, which would cut down on fossil fuels a lot because they wouldn't have to transport the oil to use the oil. They could just get it in country. The cons: biodiesel, while it does produce less soot, it produces more nitrogen oxide emissions, so it does contribute to smog worse than standard diesel does. It also requires farmland, and quite a bit of it, to produce. So if you're in an area where all the farmland is being used for food purposes, using farmland for biodiesel purposes could lead to some food scarcity issues. It also often means the deforestation of areas to create more farmland so that they can use more land for biodiesel production, which is bad for biodiversity, especially in regions like the Amazon. It also dissolves rubber, which can damage older cars because they have a lot more rubber in the engine bay, and it can damage them. My sources: I found pretty much everything I needed on this website. It had pretty much everything I needed for information on biodiesel. And as much as biodiesel is new, it is also promising, and I hope that technology can improve and catch up with demand, and that one day biodiesel can substitute for regular diesel.